myself and I remind you all to have fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I know every single week you keep hearing about having fear of Allah. Fear of Allah that is most deserving. The fear that will stop us from committing the haram and from committing that which displeases Allah. The fear that you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching every single move I make. That fear. The fear when you're on the road and there's a safety camera, you know that if I speed or if I run that red light, it's going to snap me. It's going to take a shot. So no matter what happens on that particular traffic light, you're never going to speed there, are you? Because you know, you have conviction in your heart that that box, if I cross it, it's going to snap, it's going to take a shot, and there's a consequence that I've got to pay for it. This is the fear of Allah that should be in the heart of a believer. That Allah is watching 24 hours of the day. Have you ever been to those speed cameras? Hell, if it's 3 o'clock in the morning and there's no one on the road, no one, there's absolutely no one on the road, would you run the red? But there's no one on the road. Logically, let's speak logic. There's no one on the road. You're not going to harm anyone. Would you run the red? No. Would you speed? No. But the traffic light that's after it, I'm going to run not only the red, I'm going to run whatever color comes. But that one, because you know in your heart, and you know without full certainty that there's something watching. My brother, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching every single move you make. This is the fear of Allah that we should be trying to get into our hearts and to get into our lives. Why is it that the Prophet and the companions were worried and you and I were not worried? No one is stressed anymore. Have you noticed? Yeah, I do what I can. If I get the chance, if I get around to it. Whatever Allah allows me to do. Well, they were worried and stressed, and you and I were not worried and stressed. Your Prophet who was promised, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was promised paradise. Al-Maqam al-Mahmud was for him the highest possible status, the highest possible position was for him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And even he used to say, I used to repent to Allah. Whatever you live on, the deen that you live on, whatever you claim it to be, whatever you lived on, trust me, that's what you're going to die on. And don't you dare for a moment think that every person that gets cancer, or every person that goes through a test like that, that it's a it's a good thing for him. Sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes it's the opposite. You see, it happened to be good for him because he lived a life that was pleasing to Allah. He remembered Allah in good times. Therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remembered him in times of difficulty. Trust me, I believe that Allah didn't give it to him simply because, wallah, he's Muhammad Nagi and he happens to be special. No. He worked hard when things were good, when things were easy, when people usually forget Allah, when people usually don't have time for deen, when people usually don't have time for the masjid. He remembered Allah then, so therefore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remembered him. He doesn't care. Allah doesn't care how much money you have. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't care how many cars you drive. Allah doesn't care how big your house is, how many bedrooms, whether there's en-suites, granite bench tops, bench. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't care. It's all dunya. Al-dunya mal'una wa mal'unun ma fiha. Law kanat ad-dunya ta'dilu 'inda Allahi janaha ba'uda ma saka kafiran minha sharbet ma. The Prophet of Allah, he says, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, this world is so trivial. This world is so pathetic. This world is so cheap in the eyes of Allah. It's so cheap. It's so worthless. He says, if it doesn't, but if this world had, yet we still fall in the same holes. We still make the same mistakes. Let it go, my brother. Let it go, my sister. No matter what is happening in your life, no matter how dramatic Shaitan has painted your scenario or your situation, it's only from Shaitan, and the key to everything is to just let it go, man. Let it go. Why? Because that's the sunnah of your Habib sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He says, show compassion to one another. Why? So the one in the heavens can show compassion and mercy and forgiveness towards us. Today we live in a world where it's praised. The more you hold a grudge, then the more it's praised. And common terms, forgive me, I know some people tell me, brother, it's Friday khutbah and it's inappropriate to use this sort of language. Brother, we're here to deliver a message. I'm not here to speak appropriately and no one walks out understanding what the hell I'm on about. No, we're here to speak a language so that we understand. Today we live in a culture where what? To forgive is a sign of what? It's a sign of weakness, bro. What? You think I'm a grunk? You think I'm a grunk? You think I'm a... No way in the world, brother. It's become an issue of pride. Brother, who the hell do you think you are, Yani? Who on God's green earth do you think you are to hold something and carry it in your heart? And look at the language. I don't forgive to the day of judgment. Wow, man. Really? Really? What sunnah is this? What deen is this? Because it's most definitely not from Islam, and it's most certainly not the sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. To hold on to grudges. For what? For what? Wallahi, my brothers, examples, I don't have time, but examples. And I'm sure every one of you knows the scenario. Wallahi, blood brothers. They grew up, they came out of the same womb, out of the same mother. They suckled on the same breast. They lived and slept and grew up in the same bedroom. Ate from the same plate and drank from the same cup. Today they don't speak to one another. Why? Because his wife said and my wife said. The hell with your wife. How does it possibly sit in any sane mind that my brother, the one who I grew up with, I allow a woman to get in between me and him? What deen is this? Father and son that don't talk to one another. What do you give Allah? Be real. What do you give Allah? I know myself, Habibi, I give Allah scraps. I give Allah rubbish. I give Allah what I don't want, what I don't need. Brother, come to the masjid. What brother, if I've got time? Just that language. What brother, I'll see. Yani really, I'm busy, cuz. But heck, if for whatever reason I don't have any time, yani I'm completely bored and there's nothing to do, then wallah brother, I'll say I might come to the mosque. But you know, wallahi, maybe I'm a whacker. You tell me. If that's the time I'm giving Allah, what do you call that? It's spare time. What do you mean it's spare time? You go to work like a fahal, 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, like a monster, brother. When you go to the gym, wow, standing in front of the mirror and he's doing these ones. Brother, best of his effort. When he goes to sports, when he does anything, it's done with 3 million%, brother. And then when he comes to the masjid, well, he's already yawning before he walks in. Look, wallah, we can laugh about it all day long, but you tell me, what are you giving Allah? We give Allah scraps, bro, rubbish, what I don't need. What, wallah, it's what I don't need, brother. I'll see, man, if I'm free. And then we wonder, brother, you know, why is the condition of the ummah, why is my heart dead? What I feel like, bro, what are you, brother? The elephant's in the room. What are you talking about? You give, no, we give Allah against Allah. Brother, I give Allah scraps. What I don't